Hello, Margarita here from the Conscious Wealth Institute, and I am delighted that you are here with me today because I have a very special guest to introduce to you in just a moment. Her name is Natalie Ledwell, and she is the co-founder and creator of Mind Movies, which exploded onto the scene about 5 years ago and has been an absolute phenomena all around the world, helping people to create the life of their dreams. Well, Natalie is about to release her brand new book called Never in Your Wildest Dreams. It is a great read. I've had the pleasure and the honor of having a preview of the book and everything that goes with it. So please grab a cup of coffee, sit back and relax and enjoy the interview where Natalie talks about her brand new book. To have with me today the wonderful Natalie Ledwell. And Natalie is the co-creator of the international smash hit Mind Movies, which has just been a phenomena that has only hit about 5 years ago and has just absolutely created a phenomena all around the world. And Natalie is also now the author of Never in Your Wildest Dreams, which is a magic book that I am delighted to have had a sneak preview of. So I've just finished it, absolutely loved it. So I'd like to introduce you to Natalie Ledwell. Welcome, Natalie.
Hi, how are you, Margarita?
I'm fabulous.
Today.
So pleased to have you with us today. Now, this is your very first book, is it not?
It is. First book I've ever written, which was an interesting process. Just like my character in the book, she's written a screenplay for the first time. I've written my book for the first time. So it was quite a journey, but yeah, first book out, and hopefully be the first of many.
Absolutely. Well, now you've done one, you know the process to be able to create many more.
Yes.
I was absolutely delighted with the way that you wrote the book, because you wrote it rather than just being another self-development book, because there are just so many of them out there teaching us the steps. You actually did it in the form of a fiction story, which we're told so often when we're doing our personal development and seminars and workshops to tell stories, because this is the way things stick with people. And you've taken this entire concept and you've turned it into an absolute story with your central character called Catherine, and we follow her through her journey of struggle and working hard and really not making ends meet. And she has her friend Jenny, who teaches her these certain principles that help her completely transform her life until she is living the life that is never in her wildest dreams did she imagine she would be living that life. So I'd love to know what gave you the motivation to write this book and the way that you wrote it.
I think that, well, first and foremost, I just wanted to reach as many people as possible with our message. You know, as you know, with Mind Movies, we actually initially set up our website in 2007. And you know, this is, for those people that don't know what a Mind Movie is, it's like our business partner or our friend at the time approached us with this idea of setting up a website for people to create a Mind Movie of their own. And a Mind Movie is basically a movie version of a vision board. So it's like a combination of affirmations and photos and music, and it's a tool to help you visualize, you know, what it is that you want to create and manifest in your life. It's part of the law of attraction, and of course, you know, so we set up the website. We thought it'd be a little hobby on the side. It ended up being this massive runaway success. We chose to come over here to the US and did a big launch, and it's been within a couple of years we built a multi-million-dollar company. We've reached over 1.2 million people already online, but you know, that's not enough. And Glenn and I, we get to live a life beyond our wildest dreams. You know, we share our time between San Diego and Sydney. We travel the world. We have this incredible business, and we're helping people all around the world, and we're doing what we feel passionate about, what we absolutely love. But a few years ago, we were like the character in the book. There's actually one scene that I write in there where she's sitting at a desk looking at all these bills. And it actually comes from a moment I had in my life where I was sitting at my desk at home looking at all these bills going, I don't get it. Like, what am I missing? Like, we were doing everything right. We were entrepreneurs. We were, you know, reading the books and going to the seminars, and we were action takers. and still was sort of falling behind financially and was still struggling in life. And then I saw the movie The Secret and was like, oh, right, that was the missing piece. And what I learned from that movie actually really changed my life. And because of that and our experience and what we've been through, it's like, well, I want everyone to know that they can have a life beyond their wildest dreams as well. So how can I reach more people with this message? Because, you know, we've got this big online following, but it's like, how do I reach other people? And so I'm like, let's do a book. I think I should do a book. And I remember when I first told my husband, I think I might write a book. He was like, that's fantastic. He got really excited. And I'm like, whoa, wait. It's just an idea. I'm just throwing it out there, you know. But of course, it came to fruition, and now we've got the book, and it's being launched next week. So it's very exciting.
That is exciting. And how fabulous that you've got a husband who is so supportive of you and your ideas.
Well, he is very supportive. So supportive that even when I was doubting myself, he had no doubt that I could pull this off. And even towards the end, he what really got me over the line, because the process of writing the book was really interesting. I actually, because you know, it's a full law of attraction story, as you know, life always is. But I remember Lisa Nichols invited me to attend one of her workshops. And I think it was the speaker writer workshop. And that's when I first kind of got the idea. It's like, oh, maybe I should write a book. And I actually joined a group of women at that from that workshop. And, you know, and we sort of, through that group, I actually got an outline of a book, which was like a how-to, you know, how to, you know, law of attraction, that type of thing. And that's what I approached Glenn with the idea that maybe I should write a book, and he got that excited about it. But then going through, you know, we basically, I said to him, look, I want to write the book. He goes, this is great. Then I started doing some research, and I'm like, you know, I want to find a publisher. And I was talking about Morgan James, which is a big publishing house here over in the US that publish a lot of these type of books. So about 2 weeks later, Glenn goes to this mastermind group. And he's sitting next to this guy, and he's like, you know, what are you doing? He goes, I help people become bestsellers, you know. And Glenn's like, oh, you're the guy that my wife's been talking about. We need to have a meeting. And like, this is only a couple of weeks later. Now, the funny thing was that Greg Reed was the guy that Glenn was sitting next to. He wasn't the guy. He wasn't the guy I was talking about at all. But in the end, as it turned out, I actually ended up going with Greg and Alan Reed from Sherpa Press. They ended up being our publishers. Because, you know, what I really wanted to do was make sure that we had a publisher that really got our message and didn't want to change it at all. Because most of the times when you go with a publisher, they want to own the story, they want to own the artwork, and because we even from the beginning we had the idea of having this multimedia experience, I didn't need a traditional publishing house. I needed someone who could think outside the box and could see the vision that we had. So yeah, when I created my Mind movie, because I created my movie about all of my big goals, you know, and in the Mind movie I talk about, you know, reaching 1 million people with this message and finding a publisher that could understand the vision that we had, and you know, being able to write fluently. Well, you know, we were able to do that. So everything kind of just fell into place. But even towards the end, you know, Glenn's like, okay, honey, well, you know how you've been talking about doing this book? Because I was like fluffing around with it for ages. He goes, we're going to launch it on this date. And I was like, what? So he does support me, but sometimes he pushes me, which is a good thing as well. But yeah, he pushed me sort of to get it done, which was cool.
Awesome. Yes, sometimes we do need a little bit of a push in the back to actually get us beyond our negative belief systems and the self-esteem issues that we have, and all the things actually that Catherine was going through in the book with her belief systems and self-esteem issues and her fears, and actually getting beyond those, which is often the biggest struggle, is actually just getting beyond those particular hurdles.
Yeah, that's right. And even when I was writing the book, like I said, I was probably flipping around for about a year. And I really wasn't, I mean, my big thing was like, you know, who's going to listen to me? Why am I worth, like, you know, I'm this girl from the small town called Orange in New South Wales. And like, who's going to listen to me? And so I used to go through a lot of that myself. And it wasn't until I kind of cleared that and went, you know what? It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about getting this message out, because I know that if people apply what I know, then they're going to make a massive change in their lives. And I just had to clear that. So that was a really big part of it. And so a lot of what I talk about in the book is, I mean, it is a story, but of course a lot of it I draw from my own personal experience. which really helped to do the writing of the book. But, I remember when Greg and Alan from Sherpa Press gave me the advice to write fiction, I was like, I can't write fiction. I'm like, I've got this outline for this book, which is how to. And they're like, no, you should write fiction. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a challenge. And so I came up with the idea of having the character be on the Diane Craven show, which is like an Oprah style show. And so the book was her getting interviewed on the show and then different flashbacks. And then the editor come back and, Alan come back and said, look, why don't we put her on a junket, a press junket? So it's like, different. I'm like, oh, that's kind of good. But still, like I said, I was just kind of fluffing around with it. And then I have a show called The Inspiration Show online, and I interviewed a guy called Pat Solomon, who did a movie called Finding Joe, which is a tribute to Joseph Campbell. Now, Joseph Campbell is an American mythologist and philosopher, and he actually discovered that through all of the stories that have been told throughout time, whether it's from religion or different cultures or even modern-day stories like Star Wars and Matrix and things like that, they all follow the same formula, and it's a 12-step formula which he calls the hero's journey. And I remember when I was editing the video, I'm like, maybe my book should be following this process as well. So once I could have looked at the 12 steps of the hero's journey, then I looked at all the how-to things that I had. I went, well, this will fit in here, and this will fit in here, and this will fit in here. So by the time I got to that stage, and my husband went, right, we're going to be launching the book at this date, it actually only took me 2.5 weeks to write the whole book, which was insane. But it was I was just connected to something obviously higher than me, and I was just in flow. And I can remember even like typing and reading something going, oh my God, that's so good. But I wasn't like I was patting myself. I was like, the message that I'm getting here is really inspired. So it was a great process.
Awesome. And I love the way so much of the book parallels your story, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of similarities. Obviously, I'm not a screenwriter and so forth, but I have written a book for the first time, like she's written a screenplay. The character comes from a country town, from a big family like I do. There are many internal thoughts that I have about, being worthy and different, limiting beliefs and things that definitely are from my experience and from my personal, personal experiences on that. So yeah, there is a lot of similarities. But like we said, it's a story, so I could kind of get a little bit creative with how I could illustrate the story, which was actually a really good suggestion from my publisher. Like you think of, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior and some other books like that are really great stories that stick with you, like the Celestine Prophecy. So yeah, it was a really good way for me to be able to illustrate the story well, the lessons well, without having to stick to what actually happened to me.
It was very inspired, and I love the way throughout the book you're actually teaching us through Catherine, as Jenny, her friend, gives her various exercises to do to step up to the next level and to step up to the next level. So we're kind of traveling along with Catherine as she's doing the exercises and then achieving great results and then having these challenges, and then her friend Jenny picks her up and gets her through the challenge and teaches her another part of the law of attraction or manifestation or creating the life that you want and the pitfalls. So it's just this fabulous up and down journey that takes us right through to and at the same time we're enjoying her success throughout this. As you said, it's her flashbacks.
Yeah.
So it's just a wonderful mode for teaching. And what you want to reach millions of people with your particular message, and you want to help them to transform their lives. If there was one way that you would sum up your message from the book, do you have a way that you would sum up your message from the book?
You know what? I think what I call it is a transformational story. The message is that if this character can do it, or if I can do it, then you can do it. Really, the difference between the life that you live now and the success that you want, or the life that you dream of living, is really just knowing what to do and applying it. That was the reason we did the multimedia, aspect of the book, because it's not just the book. You know, at the end of each chapter, we have like a URL or a QR code that actually takes you through to a video. And with the video, it's a video of me going inside the chapter, describing what the character's going through and so forth, but it's that extra dimension to the lesson. And so you can, reading it in a story is one thing. You go, okay, yeah, I kind of know that, I get that. But then having the how-to and the specifics of how to apply it, and then actually going through the motions and applying it, that's what makes the difference. That's what we realized. Like, I got introduced to motivational material when I was 21. My boss handed me a set of cassettes by Brian Tracy. And so I was a student of this knowledge for a long period of time, and I was applying some and applying others, but I wasn't really applying everything that I knew. And it wasn't until we saw the law of attraction and we started making mind movies that we were like, oh, okay, we're actually applying what we know. And so that's what the book is really all about. The knowledge that we applied that made all the difference in our lives is what you can apply to make a difference in yours. And we had our most financially and successful time and years, and our most successful business and our most amazing life started when the World Economic Crisis hit in September of 2008. So when you know these principles, it doesn't matter what's happening around you. It doesn't matter what the world's doing. You can still, it doesn't mean it has to apply to you. You can still be doing something different. And the lessons that we teach, or that I teach in the book, can be applied to anything. It doesn't matter if you want to create more money, if you want to have a new business or career, or if you want to find your perfect partner, or if you just want to live a life that's better than what you're living now, and to live a life of happiness. Then when you apply these principles, then you're able to achieve that and take your life to the next level.
Yeah, that's fantastic and so empowering. And I do love that multimedia aspect of the book. That was so inspired. I've never seen anything like it before. So even though you're teaching us through a story, at the same time there's that real connection with you for the personal development aspect. So, okay, this was the story. Now I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going on behind the scenes, which is just fantastic. We see it with movies. To have it done in a book is just wonderful. So congratulations on being inspired to do that. It's a fantastic element to the book, which adds a whole new dimension to it.
Well, I know, I just didn't want it to be another run-of-the-mill book. It had to be something different, And like we said, that whole multimedia, being able to teach in different modalities, really helps to apply the knowledge that you learn.
And I'd like to, we've gone over the message that you want to get across to people, and that pretty much anybody can sort of take control and achieve what they want in life. What are some of the lessons that people can expect to learn from the book Never in Your Wildest Dreams?
Well, I think the first thing that we cover is about, how life is a series of choices, and that if you want to be happy, you can just make that choice to do that. And there's the one scene in the book where Catherine's at her lowest point, and she grabs a glass of this huge glass of wine, or a huge glass where she can fit a whole bottle of wine in, which I'm not saying that I maybe have owned one of those glasses through my time, possibly, but she's at her lowest point, and then she realizes, after hearing this message on the TV, that life can be different if you choose it to be. And just to make that intention is really, really important. And, we go through things like, what are your limiting beliefs? We all have this negative inner chatter that keeps us giving us all these reasons why we can't do better, why we can't have the money we want, why we can't have the life we want. And so we go through and explain what that is, where that comes from, because we all have it. And most of us have picked it up when we were kids or when we were younger. And normally we've done it from at the age of 3, we've observed something that our brothers and sisters were doing or that our parents were doing, and so we make this assumption and then take that on as our truth, which is crazy. But that truth and that perception as a 3-year-old, I'm not saying that was what was actually happening, but it was our perception of it, actually influences us for the rest of our life. Mm-hmm. And so we could be someone who, maybe we saw our parents arguing over money when we were a kid. So we don't realize this, but subconsciously as an adult, we're repelling money. Even though consciously we're like, we want some, we're doing everything we can to get it, then there's this subconscious programming that because this voice is so normal to us, we don't even realize that we've got all these reasons that keep coming up in our head as to why we can't do it. So, you know, the story goes through what they are and where they come from, but of course the video then shows you how to get rid of them, which is really awesome. You know, we talk about, you know, practically how to apply the law of attraction consistently all the time. There's a specific formula for that. We also talk about, you know, core values. You know, most people don't know who they are and what they stand for. They don't know what's important to them. They don't know what their highest values are. And there's a scene in the book where, you know, Catherine's trying to figure out what her core values are, and she realizes as she goes through the process that she's not meant to be in the business she's in, you know, because it's really not, it doesn't apply to the type of person that she is. And, you know, we have different core values for different areas of life. When you know what your core values are when you're in a relationship with someone, it really helps you to understand the type of person you are and the type of person you're looking to attract. So it really helps you to be more specific about the type of partner that you want to attract. So there's lots of, you know, stuff like this which is kind of, like I said, it's basic success principles that you can apply to anything to be able to create, you know, the life that you want.
Absolutely, they're the real fundamentals. And there was actually a part in there that with your video that so many people expect when they get the law of attraction down, which the principles are simple, it's just the execution is not necessarily that simple, because we have all this negative beliefs and programming and chatter and blah, blah, blah that kind of drags us off course. We've got to constantly remind ourselves to come back. But one of the things that you said in one of the multimedia sections, the video sections, was that life isn't necessarily, when you get on path and you are in flow, it doesn't mean that everything's going to work out perfectly every time. Life is about challenges.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important.
Yeah, and I think too, other part of that is we talk about how you to change your perspective on that, because sometimes you look at challenges like, oh well, that's it, hands on heads, it's all over, you know. And we have our My Movie Story in particular is one of those, you know, challenging on, soldiering on when everything was working against us. But challenges are sent there to help us. They're sent there to help us grow. Like, you know, every time you get through a challenge, you're a little bit more worldly and wisely. You know a little bit more, and you're a little bit more equipped to, you know, to get the success that you're looking for. It's like relationships. You know, you don't look at all your past relationships as failures, because they were all stepping stones in teaching you and honing you to be the perfect person that you'll be, to find the partner you're going to have for life. So, you know, a challenge is not really there to stop you. It's just really there to teach you and to help you be more prepared.
Absolutely. And, you know, there was one point in the book that actually brought me to tears. I don't know whether I was just in a teary moment, but right toward the end of the book, where there was a man in the audience who stood up and asked Catherine a question. He had some huge challenges in his life. His wife was very sick, and they both lost their jobs because he was, you know, had to look after his wife and all this sort of stuff going on. It can be, when you've got these principles, it can be so hard when you are feeling like you're at rock bottom and everything is going wrong, to employ these principles. What is one step that you would suggest that a person takes? Because there are so many people out there facing incredible challenges right now in their lives. What's one thing, the first step that you would suggest they take?
First thing is to stop and start to be grateful for what you already have. Because, you know, even though you're in a dark and low place now, and we've all been there, you know, there's always something you can be grateful for. And the thing is, when we're in that dark and low place, we're in a very low vibration. And when we're in this low vibration, it's very difficult for us to think of ourselves outside of it. It's really hard for us to come up with solutions to where we are. And it's very hard for us to think that life can get any better than that. And so what we need to do is to raise our vibration and just start to think a little bit more positively and start to vibrate a little bit at a higher level. And the easiest and fastest way to do that is to be grateful for what you already have. Because there are a gazillion people out there that have, you know, maybe don't have a home, or don't have their health, or have lost their family, or, you know, in such, you know, dire situations. And, you know, when you can start to be grateful for what you have, you start to instantly raise your vibration. and it really helps to start to make space for new things to come into your life as well. And when you can get into that high vibration, you're in a better frame of mind to be able to set goals. I mean, when we set goals from that low vibration, we're only setting them out of desperation, not out of inspiration. We need to be in this higher vibration so we can really start to think big. It's like, when we set ourselves the monetary goals, like for the book, I want to reach millions of people's lives. Well, if I reach 100,000 people's lives, then I'm still happy. You don't go, okay, well, I want to reach this. You go, I want to reach this, and then you blast past that first hike and you go straight to the next one. So that's so just take some time and really, and I suggest you take time every day to be grateful for what you have.
It's a very powerful exercise, definitely. So the book, it's fabulously put together, and you also, not only do you have the multimedia aspect, you also have these free gifts which you keep giving throughout the book. So the book just keeps giving and giving and giving. It's on so many levels, and it's for anybody who is mildly interested in this book. I suggest that you just click on the link that's below this video and go to have a look at the book, and it's probably one of the best investments you'll ever make. If you're interested in the law of attraction and making your life, transforming your life better, and actually transforming other people's lives, because as soon as you transform your life, you will start to transform the lives of people around you. It will happen automatically. It's like a ripple that goes out. So to anybody who is in that process and who feels like they're struggling and just can't get to the next level, this book has so many principles and ideas and exercises that will really clarify things for you. And then the important thing is to take action on what's in the book. So if you don't do that, then nothing will happen. It'll just be another book. But I'm just so delighted to have been able to connect with you about this, Natalie, because I've been blown away by it. It really is a fabulous book. Now, you're launching it May 14th.
Yep.
And you're offering something, more gifts. Oh my gosh, you're offering something very special to those people who take action now.
Yeah, well, we're launching, May 14th is our launch date, but May 14th to the 21st is our launch week. And so for anyone who purchases the book in that week, we're actually giving away my 7 Secrets to Happiness video e-course. So that it comes along with anyone that buys the book. You get that instantly when you buy. But what we're doing is something really, really special. Because like I said, my mission is to get this out into as many hands as possible. For anyone that buys during that week, you will all go into the drawer, and the winner of that draw, the first person that's drawn out of the hat, will actually get flown to San Diego, be put up in a 5-star hotel, and we'll get to spend a day with me, where we're actually going to help to map out a plan for your life, or for the goal that you're looking to achieve at this time. So you spend a full day one-on-one with me, so it's like one-on-one coaching for the whole day. But it won't be all work. We'll also be having some fun while we're here. So you actually get to come for, I think it's a couple of days. We'll get to show you around San Diego, and you get to work one-on-one with me as well. So that's the first person that goes drawn out of the hat. But then the next 10 people will actually get access to the Ultimate Success Masterclass, which is a 12-week program that I deliver online as well, which is incredible coaching as well. So
awesome! Somebody's calling you about that right now.
I know.
I want the book now.
Don't call now.
Fantastic. Yes, well, obviously the phone is going to be ringing off the hook once this gets out there, because it really is amazing. So thank you so much for spending the time with me to talk about your book. It's fabulous. As I said, people, click the link below the video and go and check it out. You will not be disappointed, and if you take action on what's in the book and really immerse yourself in it, it will change your life without a shadow of a doubt. So congratulations, Natalie. Looking forward to seeing it go absolutely viral all around the world. And hopefully we'll speak to you in 6 months' time when maybe you've got the movie out. Or it's coming.
I know. I've had a few people go, oh, I can't wait to see the movie. I'm like, let's just get the book out first. But yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
All right. Well, have a fabulous time. Thank you so much for your time today. And we'll catch up soon. Thanks, Natalie.
See you soon.